angry black woman. That's what they like to call us. They say it if we smile, laugh, stay silent, or if we cuss. Are we really angry or just lonely, misunderstood, or just tired? I mean, we're doing so much. Could it be our brains are just wired? The black woman is said to be the most unprotected. The black woman is also said to be the most disrespected. Our pain and our sorrows are made into jokes and memes by society. Could this be what leaves us with so much pain and anxiety? Our pain isn't seen as equal in comparison to women of other races. We are so misunderstood that most don't even know how to embrace us. Are you making it better or worse by giving it a name? I don't see this being done to other races. This is not a game. Perhaps there are some sisters that are just plain old mad. But is it for no reason? Because she just doesn't want to be glad? Tonight, we are going to take the masks off or put them on by talking about the angry black woman. Is she really angry or just misunderstood? And if she is angry, is it justified or not? We're going to talk with some audience members, some counselors to see what we find while making all souls kindred spirits. So without further ado, I give you the insightful, the empowering, the ever so compassionate and always funny, Miss Barbara Carlyle.
Yay! I have to clap for myself, but it's okay. Come on in, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight on M.A.S.K., making all souls kindred spirits. So tonight we talk about the dreaded, the misunderstood, the angry black woman. And when I look at my own history, I say to myself, have I ever been depicted as an angry black woman? Do I think of myself as an angry black woman? And if I think back and I try to look back on some of the things that have been said and some of the things that have been done to us, I think maybe we can go back as far as slavery, when people thought we were too aggressive, we were too forward. And then we move into the future, the present, and here we are. Black men don't want us. We don't want us. What can we do? Is it anger? Or is it the fact that maybe we're just misunderstood? We're going to take time tonight to talk to some people about this because I really want to know what exactly is an angry black woman. So come join us, take off your mask. You can say whatever you want to say on this show. Well, to a point. And we're going to kick it. Let people know how we feel, what we feel, and when we get to feel. So, with that being said, let's please meet our panel. Y'all welcome to the forefront. One of our counselors, Miss Tori Jones, out of Jacksonville, Florida. Tori, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody?
All right, fine. Other counselor out of Connecticut, Andrea D. Sanders. And Andrea, angry black woman that you are. How are you?
I'm not angry.
I know you're not an angry black woman. I just wanted to get a rise out of you because I just wanted to pit one black woman against another. So how are you doing today, Andrea?
I'm doing well.
Okay, thank you. Also, I see Miss Gloria Tuck in the house. This is one of my fellow Savannah State Tiger Reds. Gloria, thank you for joining us tonight. Gloria, let me ask you before we get to anybody. When I say an angry Black woman, what comes to mind for you?
Stereotype.
Okay.
Because I think that's what it is.
Okay. Have you ever been depicted as an angry Black woman, whether on the job, whether in a relationship, whether just your family just saying it? Have you been called an angry Black woman? And if so, how did you feel about it?
I actually have. It's basically been on my job. You know me very well, Barbara, and a lot in my family. I have strong women in my family, and a lot of them, have told me that you're like one of the nicest ones out of our family members. But as I've grown older, experienced things in life, I feel like I'm wiser and I'm more in tune with who I am. And like Felicia Rashad and others, when they cross over in the 40s, you know what you're going to deal with and what you're not. So all of that is just me being a grown woman. There's one extent of that. But then when it comes down to that stereotype of angry Black woman, I've experienced it more so in my job because there's certain things that I just won't tolerate. That's just being disrespected, talked down to in a condescending way, or even when you see people approaching you in a way that they're making assumptions that you're not knowledgeable because of the color of your skin or because of your gender. And so, I've had to have moments where I've had to professionally check people and they don't know how to deal with that. I've seen others do it, but when we do it, it's perceived in a negative way. But for the most part, it's just common. It's very common in the workplace. It's like we're very strong. We know we move in so many different directions. I think someone said about we're doing so much with being a mom, being, a maid or a spouse, and trying to hold it down in the workplace, be educated. There's so much that we have on our plate. And I don't think it's about being angry. It's just about knowing who you are and knowing what you're going to put up and what you're not going to put up with. And some people just can't handle that. They don't understand it.
Okay, that was a good answer. V, I saw you raised your hand. Now, some of the things that Gloria said really struck home to me because it's like she says, it seems like as long as you can put words together and can't talk the Black vernacular, the ghetto, the hip hop talk or whatever you want to call it these days. If you sound educated, can that be misconstrued as being an angry Black woman or a sassy Black woman? Varela. V, are you on? You had raised your hand.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I was applauding actually, but yes, I'm here. What was your question? I'm sorry.
You're gonna make me repeat all that. Okay, I said Gloria had said that she has to check the people to let them know that she's not angry. She's just aware of what her surroundings. She's aware of what's being said to her, how they're acting toward her, and everything. So, do you think that when we as Black women, when we began to talk on the same level that, say, our white counterparts might talk, are we considered an angry Black woman because we can voice our opinion?
No, I believe you're reacting to what is given. So it's just like she was saying in her reactions. If somebody's coming off, because, I don't think it's necessarily Black, because it's like you said about Karen, they're no different. They just talk differently. That's what I would say. They have a different way of voicing it, but it's the same cockiness or the same, you can call bitchy or, I don't know, arrogance, ignorance, hate, all of that. It depends on how deep it is. But I'm with her when it happens in the workplace. That happens commonly. Some people, I've seen it where you've never even talked to that person and you say that. That bothers me.
Okay. Well, since you bring up the Karen issue, and to us, the Karen issue has just been that stereotype just came to the forefront in like the last 10 years or so, maybe not even 10 years. But Black women have been dealing with the issue of us being too strong, too forward, too angry. And the anger that they speak of is not the same anger I think that we carry. So, Andrea or Tori, can you tell us what is going on?
Andrew, you go ahead. Hold on for me.
Okay. Um, so a Karen, I think more recently has become popular in terms of the video. So we have a lot of examples of Karens walking into places or calling the police when it isn't necessary for them to even, it's not that the situation is not a part of their business. I think angry Black women, usually it's something that's happening to us or around us. It's our situation, and people take our responses to a situation and they maximize our behaviors. Meaning, for example, I remember not too recently, I was talking to someone and I'm telling you, I didn't move a stitch. I didn't move an eyebrow. I didn't move my finger, nothing. Just the words that I was saying. And they asked me why I was wilding out. I'm like, if this is wilding out, then I'm not sure, you really don't want to see me if I'm wilding out, because I didn't move. I deliberately kind of kept my composure and tone, and I wasn't even saying anything so extra. And so our behaviors quite often get maximized for whatever reason, as opposed to the Karen person feeling that she has a right to be a particular way. I do think that there was something that was interesting. I remember I read something about one difference between, say, a Black woman and a white woman, just generally speaking, is that Black women tend to feel no angst or no way about taking up space in a room. We don't have a problem with even our posture. We don't have a problem with that. Whereas the white woman trying to be as small as they can physically in a space. So I don't know if that somehow plays into people feeling intimidated by us, that we can just, spread our arms, spread our legs in a way that's like, our stances. We're not trying to be as small physically as we can in a space. And sometimes maybe that lends itself to how people perceive who we are. Now, the issue is their problem, but maybe that is, it's a noted dynamic that happens between, or difference between, white women and Black women. So that's all I have to say at the moment.
Okay, Andrea, I was having trouble hearing most of what you said. Can you adjust your volume? And V,
is it too low?
It was too low. V,
okay.
It was the same with you. It was hard for me to hear what you had to say. I caught pieces of it. Tori, can you add anything to
Well,
what?
I want to ask a question. Why are we angry with that term? What is that term, angry? What makes us angry? Is it an attitude? Is it more of us just being stand up where we have to fight for everything we get, or we're raising these children, raising the white children, we're doing all this stuff? Why are we angry? I want to know where that term comes from. I want to understand on what level are we counted as angry, because I think we're just being ourselves. And in one retrospect, it's a stereotype because we've been drawn to see the Theas and the Miss Huxtable, how she can read a guy because she's educated, Black, and strong, and all it takes is one look from a Black person or a look from a Black mom, and everybody knows what's gonna go down. So I think it's a lot when you say angry. To me, angry can mean so many different things. So I want to ask, kind of in a way of, is angry really angry, or is angry a right? You know what I'm saying? Does
Okay,
that make sense?
Yes, sorry. Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking, was there ever a time, I don't recall when it was used as like a power
Right.
call, if you will. And yes, I'm an angry Black woman because I have a right, because all this stuff is going down and nobody's doing anything about it. It's time for me to get angry. I don't recall specifically a time in history, but that's something that, we could research and find out. But I think more recently, when you say the term angry Black woman, it is someone's opinion of you rather than your opinion of yourself. Like, yes, I'm angry and I'm going to do something. So I think that's where we are today. In terms of, I know when I hear the term, someone speaking their opinion about someone else, say, boy, she's an angry Black woman.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Gloria, I'll get to you in a minute. In my contention, I think that the angry Black woman is exactly what they're saying, that we are angry. But again, like Andrea said, nobody's asking us why. They're just assuming that we come in with an attitude. We just we push people away. We push our men away. We push our kids away. We're so busy trying to climb that corporate ladder that we develop attitudes, as they might think. So either way, whether we term it good or whether they term it bad, I just want to know why it has to be an angry Black woman. Why can't they say, you never heard them say successful Black woman? They never heard anybody say that, I mean, they have even different connotations for us if they think we're beautiful or sexy or outgoing or whatever. Like, take for instance, the tennis lady. What's her name? Serena. I couldn't think of her name. Serena, the way she was playing, because she got all that power and, she was using that power to get her, to hit that ball. And, they couldn't stand that. They really actually hated that. And I just don't understand where all the animosity is coming from when we don't seem to have a animalistic nature about us. The majority of us. So, Gloria, your hand is up. Gloria, go ahead.
Yeah, Barbara. So you kind of touched on it a little bit. So I think the real issue is that a lot of Black women, when they express or come across as angry, it's really hurt. Because someone said it earlier, we go through so much in the workplace with our men, just so much that's on our shoulders. And so it's being hurt. And sometimes when you don't have someone to really understand what you're going through, it's almost like acting out. It's acting out and it's coming across as anger. But a lot of times it's really just women who are wounded or struggling and they're just hurt and they need some sort of helping hand or affection to get through that moment. I've been in, like I said about work situations, I've been in rooms where I was the only Black person there. And, I have learned to deal in certain situations where you have to humble yourself or, kind of come off in a certain way to get along and survive in the workplace. But as I went up the ladder and matured, there's certain things that I just will not tolerate. And I have to tell you, there's a guy that was here recently at my job on a rotation, Black guy, and we connected. It was also cool. And the organization I work in is very challenging. And sometimes when we've been in situations, I've like I said, I've had to do a little professional checking, but we had a code. I've actually used this code with him. We said, look, I'm about to go black girl direct. So that was my code for him. Like, BGD, you better handle it or step in because it's about to go black girl direct. Because sometimes, you know, like when I would do that, he was new to the organization and he didn't really understand it, but I've worked with these people and I know how they operate. So to him, initially it came across as, wow, you're tough. It's almost kind of scary. But I'm like, no, I'm just simply not gonna be treated a certain way. But I don't try to do it mean, but I'm very direct when I need to be. So I can see how sometimes people would perceive that as angry, but it's just a matter of standing up for yourself and not wanting to be disrespected or discounted over.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think some people who are not Black and maybe not, you know, the Black females, they can't fathom all that comes with being the only one in a particular position, because already as a female, you're probably underestimated, or people think you're there based on a quota, or just all the reasons as to why you shouldn't be there. People are looking at you, and that energy, it seeps through whether they know it or not. And so now you're trying to, you know, you're a chameleon every day, having to come in and incorporate yourself into this company or be a part of this company. But they don't have to do it. It's not even on their radar that they have to be any other way than the person that they were when they woke up in the morning. And we do. I can understand it, why it comes off looking angry, but it's frustration that's coming out when it finally tips over, when it finally boils over. It can look like anger, but it's probably no angrier than if somebody else was put in the same position. I don't think it necessarily is particular to us, you know, the anger itself. They would be angry too if they were put in the same position that you were put in.
Amen. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, but let me ask you this. When did we as Black women have to take on all the troubles of the world on our shoulders? When was it feasible for us to be the ones to get all the flack and suffer through all the insecurities and what everybody's thought about us? Why was it? Because we are determined to break that glass ceiling? Was it because we tend to try to be a lot more successful? Does it have anything to do with us not being in great relationships, some of us? Did it start from childhood? Tori?
That's a big question.
It's in our DNA, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're nurturers, but
it's in our DNA.
Yeah, we're nurturers. We got to be everybody's mom, you know.
But who decided that that's what we had to be? Did it stem from the plantation?
Raising them kids, raising their kids.
It goes back further. It goes back further because in Africa, in different nations in Africa, we were the head of those nations. Mm-hmm. You know, you have women that ruled. So it's not something that we're unaccustomed to doing. And I think that, you know, it is just like anything else. Shyness, they have a gene for shyness. A lot of that stuff is literally our DNA. And if you take into account, Black women do outnumber everyone in terms of we are capable of taking on all those things. Now, the challenge is, I think Ms. Gloria mentioned, when we do have our upsets, our bad days, who do we turn to? Where do we allow that steam to go? And that's when it looks like, oh, I thought you were so composed and so educated or so this and so that. And then, I mean, because I've had people say to me, I'm telling you, listen, I wasn't nice to smile in high school. I smile all the time. I literally had another guy ask me, why are you smiling all the time? But the moment I'm not smiling, I'm wilding out. I'm wilding out. And that's just not, I don't wild out. I'm not wilding out. One, because I hurt my bones. I can't do it, you know. But so it's literally in our DNA to be able to. We're capable of ruling things, ruling nations. We're capable of having babies in the cotton field and then getting up and keep on going. We're capable of doing these things.
Okay. Okay. I'll agree with that. Well, let me ask you this, ladies, since we have no men, and I wish some men would come on, please. Somebody get in touch with some men who have some kind of opinion on this subject. Do you think that Black men call us angry more so than anybody else? Anybody?
Yes, and they also call dark women angry too, more so than light-skinned women.
Dark skin ladies?
That is the thing. Yes. They if you're dark skinned, I mean, we know that because we also know that when, say, like when OJ was accused of murdering his wife, they darkened his image. So they do that. If the darker you are, the easier it is to understand or to believe that you know, you're angry, you're a killer, all those things. Anytime you see someone in the newspaper that has been accused of a horrific crime, they try and darken their image. Those things I've studied. I've seen that. You know, we did side by side kind of look at the data on those things.
So it goes with the adage that anything white is pure and innocent, and everything Black is bad and dark and evil. Okay. So I've heard the term resting bitch face. Can anybody explain that term to me? What exactly?
Omarosa will be a good example. Omarosa has she's someone that if you had to say, what does that look like, Omarosa?
You know, I can't even recall her face.
She
became a different woman pre-Donald Trump being in the presidency, past Donald Trump being in residency when she stopped being around. I'm hoping DJ History is a male and he can give us some perspective on the angry Black woman. But in the meantime, do you think that we have to make up for not being what our men want us to be? And that causes us to have a little bit of resentment and anger inside of us?
Yes.
Anybody understand the question?
Go ahead, y'all.
Does anybody understand the question? Everybody got their mic off. DJ History? I can't hear you. Can you turn your mic up a little bit?
Disconnected. Pairing.
Hello? Okay. Yes. Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I can't hear them. I can't hear nobody.
Can you answer that question for us?
I can hear y'all.
I'm having difficulty hearing you.
I'm gonna call back in. I'm gonna hang up and call back in.
Okay. Sonia, I hope you're the same Sonia that usually joins us. Do you have any opinion on the angry Black woman and what it's doing to us in today's society?
Yes. Hi, Ms. Barbara. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. My thing is, I just think it's a stereotype or a narrative for Black women as I think that it's like, for example, for me, if somebody tell me, oh, you being an angry person, you being angry, but I just think that we're just assertive. I just think that we're strong and we're assertive, and they been over time, they just been minimizing that to make it seem like we're angry. So I also agree with I think it was Miss Tori that said, where did that come from? Where did the term Black angry women come from? And I think it started back in time. That's it.
Okay. Anyone else want to say anything? Melinda, Herlon, do you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation?
Can I add something to it?
Is that
Can
DJ
you hear me?
history?
Yes, it's history.
Okay.
Yeah, if y'all can hear me.
Yes, we hear you.
To me, I feel like it's more of this on the women part. I feel like it's more fear of being, fear of people understanding who they are. Where a lot of stuff that women do is more fear-based, like perception of what somebody say of them or how we perceive them. Like when you say they're angry blackface. Well, a lot of time when we see a woman in general, we just look at them. But then they look at us with the perception that we might be viewing them different ways. That's what I mean by the fear part. Do you feel like some of that is basically a mental thing when you walk in the room and how people perceive you, and then that's the outcome you get?
Well, I think it depends on what we perceive, as you say, but a lot of the times when we see something and we have an uneasy feeling about it, that's generally what it is. People have already made an assessment of who's walking into the room. And most Black women that I know, all the ones that I know that I travel with and the ones that I've been around, they strut. And we strut because, even if it's not true, we want to give the persona that we got it going on from head to toe, mentally, physically, emotionally. But deep down inside, we might be dying. DJ?
Yes, I can understand that. Yes.
So do you think that are you a Black male?
Yes.
Do you think that sometimes y'all give us a bad rap by saying that we are angry and saying that, I've had men say, some to me, some talking about someone else, that's why we go to women of other races, because Black women are too difficult to deal with.
To me, it's unbalanced only because of women. A female, especially a Black female, has a double advantage, whereas they can use their weakness as their strength. Whereas a Black man has to be strong all the time. A woman could be weak and strong at the same time. Whereas when she's going through something, people gravitate towards her. When she's not, people gravitate towards her. So when a man comes in the room, he has to be strong even when he's weak. So it makes it difficult when we meet a woman that's going through something to be there for, because at the same token, we going through something. We can't be strong for you, but we have to be. So we put on a persona where it makes it unbalanced when we both not in our, I guess I live off of energy. So I feel like a feminine energy and a male energy has to be at the same time. So when a female is AK in her boss state, she got male energy in her. So masculine energy. And then when she's talking to another male who has masculine energy, that's going to create that conflict where a female doesn't have to be too feminine to be effeminate and her feminine energy. And to me, that's where I think a lot of confusion comes in at when women, AK strutting and being bosses, and meeting men that's going through stuff and they got to put on a persona that they're strong. So it makes it difficult for either one of them to connect because they both looking at each other to trying to put on a persona, and they both out of energy and not in their capacity. That's the way I view it. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody.
Well, in my contention, and I like using that word, I feel like when we're walking in our glory, we're really meaning it. So there is no pretense with us. But 9 times out of 10, Black men or even any other men, they just seem to think that we bring too much to the table, and the majority, 90% attitude, 10% Black woman, and when it should be the other way around.
To me, it's the value. I think when you look at it, what value do a black woman bring to the table to a black man? That
We've
and,
always
and
been there for y'all.
but now see we say that, but now honestly, when you look at it, you could look at the history of how black men are treated through the public eye when it comes to black women. The moment a black man is shined by a black woman, is his whole life is over. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we know that y'all there. We need y'all energy in general. But is it a fair ground? That's what I'm asking. Do y'all think it's fair for on both ends, the way black men could be received when it comes to black women? Because we all have to come to us with what we need. But if a black man tell y'all, well, we need this, that, and the third, we're back into the cave days. Where when the value, when it comes to women, because no woman is gonna let go of anything she values, no matter what the case is. So if she don't find value in that man, is she wrong for staying? Or is he wrong for staying? Because they see there's no value in it. So are they both in that situation for what cause? That's what I mean. Like, what's the value that each person brings to the table, more so if it's a black man or a white man? What the value of a relationship in general? Like, what time do value you gonna give me, and what time value I'm gonna get from you?
Well, let me. I don't think the thing I'm trying to relay to you is when it comes to relationships between a man and a woman, I think love is love. Love, if you're loving from the heart, it sees no color, it sees no value. It does see value, but not in the way that I think that you're trying to portray. So if I saw somebody that was in love and I know they love that person, and you can see that they actually love each other, they fell in love, they did this. I'm talking about the men that make a concerted effort to go to other races because they cannot deal with a black woman. And that's enough to make you angry, I think.
I agree with you with people make a certain effort, but at the same token, like I said, it has to be value in it. No one is gonna make an effort if they don't find value in both ends. And it might be just that particular woman, because each black woman isn't the same. Each one of them don't carry the same story. So to put them all in that circle is difficult, but at the same token, you look at the media, the black male has to be portrayed by the media as well. So the way that the media is portraying the black male, whenever he gets success, next thing you know, he got another woman on his side. And if he does have a black woman, like y'all stated earlier, is an angry black woman, or is a big mama black story. It's never it's never just a woman. Why does it have to be a black woman? Because the truth of the matter, most black women got caught up with the whole movement with the white and the whole movement in general. Black women are double minorities. White women need black women more than they need them. Black women have more power than white women in general. But it was always, and I mean this in the sense, when you look at the history of it, black women always had the power. But what it was, white women always attached to black women, and it gave them, aka they look like they was the ones in power. So what I'm saying is, a lot of this anger, or not even anger, a lot of this the stereotype is coming from just the simple fact a lot of movements that black women put themselves in wasn't part of their movement, but it became part of their movement because they needed a voice. They already had the voice. Black women built everything by just being there, not by being black women, by just being there, and people recognized them as women. It was the moment they put black on it. The moment y'all put black on it, it changed.
Disagreeing?
Slightly.
Are you disagreeing or?
Yeah.
No, talk
slightly.
to me. Talk to me.
No, so I feel like, so even today, we know that young girls in school, I'm sure everyone has seen it because it's widely, viewed on even YouTube, where men slam black women, slam young girls, throwing them down in school, security guards. Young black women are expelled from school at greater rates than anybody else. Our value, if you want to talk about, is very high on the totem pole. And I say high because really the base of the totem pole is the foundation, and that's really, people get it twisted. But it's high on the totem pole, meaning that we're seen as not having the same type of pain. They give us fewer injections for pain when we're giving birth. They give us fewest injections for pain when we've been injured. They don't see us the same as other women or people in general. So I don't agree that Black women were always with the power. That whole civil rights movement, very little is known about women who put together certain aspects of the march, except for Miss Rosa Parks. And so I think the comments about why Black men gravitate towards white women is probably skewed, and it doesn't take into account that Black men are seen as having higher value because of their strength, their physicality, such as it was when we were enslaved. And now you move forward to them being athletes. Black men, athletes, make a ton of more money than the female athletes that are doing the same, the women, who are generally a lot of Black women. They don't make the same money. It's not the same. So I think that that comment is missing some parts of the conversation.
Well, I want to say, my apologies. I think because I'm on the phone, I might not have been heard correctly. What I was saying was the fact that when Black women got involved with the movement as a female movement, that's when the disconnect came. That's when all the things you speak about, that's when all that came. Before, they never needed to be part of the movement. So the civil right wasn't a positive thing for Black people. For the simple fact, if you look through the history, women was always exiled throughout history, through your Roman. All those statues are little men. It's nothing with women. Women was always exiled. It wasn't until the movement that women started getting a voice, because the white women didn't have a voice. They didn't get a voice until they got connected to the Black woman. Like for instance, the Cinderella story, all the Hollywood stories, there's a 14-year-old girls kissing 31-year-old men. The Snow White, she's only 14. The Prince is 31. So it's always been embedded for a disconnect with the women, and in general, just Black women just got attached to it. But society didn't never see the value in women in general. That's what I was saying. So Black women didn't need a voice. They already had it. The thing is, the fact that Black makes anything cool, anything we put our names on, we make cool if it's good or bad. And so the moment that the white or other races knew that they attached anything to us, and the fact that women have a voice, they attach it to women first. So all your athletes, yes, you'll get your Black men with other races just because women going to say something. The dude's not going to say nothing. That's the reason why you have the angle where everything look like it's targeted to the woman, because it is psychologically, because the women doesn't have value on this planet. It wasn't until y'all got attached to other races. That's why I'm saying when it came to Black women, it's just a simple fact. Y'all sitting right here together. Y'all could create your own movement and not use anybody else. And trust me, people will gravitate towards it. I'm not saying that none of y'all doesn't have value. I'm saying the way this planet is set up is the skies where it seems like it's one race. But the white women, other races are going to worse than Black women in general. They don't have the rights that y'all have. They can't say certain things like y'all can say in culture-wise and not in society-wise. That's what I was saying. I wasn't making a reference that one go to another. I was just saying the value that women have in general.
Are you kidding me?
Go ahead, talk to me.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
Jack.
that's not.
Tell me
Hello.
what part that was false. Tell me what's false. Tell me the part that I said false.
Okay, so a lot of things that were originally that Black women incorporated themselves into were originally designed for the white women. There's a lot of programs, particularly the social services programs, that were only designed for the white women. And then the social services that were designed or that we utilized, ended up what? Breaking up the Black family. So it was designed not to give us power, not to help us, but that's why we saw fewer relationships develop into marriages, because it was designed to do that. I'm sorry. I'm out here in these streets once again, and I'll just have to pass the torch to Tori or Ms. Gail tonight to keep going with this conversation. And I would love to hear the outcome of the conversation about, that white women have fewer rights than African American women. Absolutely
That's
not true.
bullshit.
Okay. Herlon, we're going to hear from Herlon, then we're going to go to Gloria and Tuck. Okay, Herlon, what do you have to say?
That's bullshit. Bullshit on that with that black man talking. That's a bunch of bullshit. Black women do not have more rights than white women. If a white go out there and rape a let a black man go rape a white woman. As soon as a white woman scream rape, they come running. But let a black woman get raped. All them niggas do is march up down the fucking street. Ain't nobody stand up for Breonna Taylor. You hear me? But Bill Cosby got locked up for some bullshit over some white women. No, damn well them bitches was partying with his ass. You know what I'm saying? Black women is listen. We the fruit of the table, but we the lowest of the totem pole in everything. We the strongest though, and they know we the strongest. They do everything to break down the black woman. Look at Cleopatra. Cleopatra conquered Rome, but they want to whitewash her because they want to never admit that a black woman is the strength. Until black men start, and then the black men always want to admit they was here first. Bullshit. Till the black men admit that the black woman is the creator, the universe, they ain't gonna get nowhere no damn way. You know what I'm saying? The black man full of shit. And the black man running to the white woman is the weakest bone. They weak. And then when the white woman scream rape, you running your ass over here. You want me to march? Hell no, I ain't marching for your ass. You go on that side talking about they got more rights. If white women had rights, why they do the feminists and come get the black women to help they monkey ass?
Okay, well, in defense of DJ
that
history,
nigga.
In the defense of DJ history, I think what he was trying to say
to the
is,
black women. What I was saying to you is, it's not the fact that you got to realize when we say whites, we don't have a white category. When you look at the white category, you talk about Chinese, you talk about Irish, you talk about German, you talk about different races. When you talk about white groups, that's what I was saying to you. I'm not saying that the whites in general. What I'm saying is we don't have a particular white race we can say. When you say black, everybody can say African, but you don't have a particular white race. When you look at the category, everyone is considered white when they're not black.
Okay, but you
that's
talking
what I'm saying by the power. I'm not saying just the people in general. I'm saying as us as people
talking about
and
white
as black
women
women,
got
y'all
more
have
rights.
a voice
Black
already.
women got more rights than women.
And the fact they got y'all as double minorities,
black
that's even
women
more
ain't,
power.
I'm gonna tell you, black women
That's
have
what I
more
was
rights
saying. It
than
wasn't
women.
the fact that we had another race. It was the fact that y'all had power and they knew that. And by attaching this up to y'all, they were using that power that y'all had.
That's what I was saying. Give him a chance to finish. You'll have your chance.
It wasn't about nobody being wrong or right. It was just what they was using now. What right now we're talking about, they're doing it.
Oh, shit. This nigga, he over there sound like Farrakhan.
Well, okay. All right, Gloria, you had your hand up. What do you want to say?
If I could get through laughing, because I'm loving this, and I'm like, I'm following kind of some of what she said. There was so much in so many conversations prior, but here's the thing that I feel. At the top of the show, Barbara, you were saying that our men don't want us. Well, I have a former Italian sister-in-law, and she would always say, even in my presence, oh, Black men love me. They love Italian women. And I'm like, she don't see how disrespectful that is. And my daughter, I was like, you better get her. But the thing about it is, I had to tell her, because she posted something on Facebook that was so offensive, but I had to remind her that let's just go back. When we were brought from Africa, we were the ones who were being raped. We were the ones who were looked upon, and like somebody said, to do so many things for white people. So we have a lot of value. I love what somebody said. We have power and strength and value, and they try to tear the Black woman down. But the main thing is, like someone also said, I think a lot of times Black men run to the other side because it's something in them. They don't appreciate their Blackness, and some of them are targeted. Somebody mentioned NBA players. Now we all know how that happens. They get manipulated and played. So what I say to my daughters, where we make the mistake as Black women, we're too exclusive. You know, we're so down with our brothers. But my thing is, for the ones that aren't down with us, I'm like, more power to you, brother. And I'm not going to limit myself. You know, look at Eve. She went out and got her a billionaire, or millionaire. So why are we limiting
Yes.
and why are we sitting back being wounded?
But I don't want no white man. The richest man on earth was a Black man out of Africa named Brutus.
Hi.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I don't want no white man. White man ain't got no penis, nigga. I don't.
Well,
I disagree, but go ahead.
Yeah, but let me say,
it went from us being angry Black women to women who measure men. Okay, so Gloria, I agree with what you say. I think the fact that we've been pushed aside and been back in the background trying to say, and DJ, did he leave? Carlyle, you made our only male person leave.
And that's the one gonna run and get the white woman because the Black woman was too strong for his motherfucking ass. I bet you he put cream in his coffee with his bitch ass.
Okay, so
you know what? If Black women had so much rights that Malcolm X smoked, the Black woman is the most unprotected, the most disrespected, and the most neglected, and he enforced that every rip. So how we got most rights? They forget about that. They don't protect Black women. They don't. They need to. If they protect Black women, when they murdered Breonna Taylor, the Black man should have been tearing this country up.
Okay, let me say this. Right about now, you sounding like an angry Black woman.
Well,
you ripped into DJ history. But I can understand what he's saying. And I don't necessarily agree with everything he's saying, but opinions are opinions. So I can even go with the thought that Black women are overly aggressive because you just showed that.
I'm working on it. I'm in therapy.
Between the two of you and Gloria and Andrea before she has to leave, do you think it all stems from hating the color you in or loving the color that you are in? Is there a fine line between the two?
Did you say that to me?
Are you talking the relationships?
What?
Just being in the Black woman, as a Black woman, DJ history, I want you to reply, then I want Herline, then Gloria, I want you to come in. Andrea, how much time do you have before you have to leave, Andrea? I think she's talking to somebody. What I'm saying is, do you think that we are termed angry Black women because we hate the color we're in, or we starting to embrace and love the color that we're in? Or is it a mixture of the two?
I think for the most part, we love the color that we're in, Barbara, but at the same time, you know, there's colorism out there that divide us. There's the constant, I would say the example of Black women that are truly angry legitimately, it's almost like death by 1,000 paper cuts because they go through so much. What I was going to say earlier about the relationships, you know, a lot of women are angry because of the fact that their lives are toyed with. You know, men do things, they leave them as single parents and all kind of stuff. You know, you're cheated on, a whole host of things that Black women have to deal with for men who are not good for them in their lives. But there are a lot of great relationships out there of color. And I love how Oprah was doing some shows to show that, and I like that on Facebook, you know, there's a Black couple revolution. I love that because it's showing that there are a lot of Black couples out there. Every Black man is not running to a white woman. And so I think we got to make sure that we love ourselves and know that just because we see a Black guy with a white woman, it has nothing to do with us. I think it more so has everything to do with him, you know, for a whole number of reasons. But there are some men who legitimately just cannot handle an alpha female. Someone said that earlier. You know, I think the guy said, and I agree with that part of his conversation, it's hard to pair a Bravo male with the alpha female. It's just not going to work unless he's willing to submit to her in the way that she wants him to, and it doesn't bruise his ego.
Well, I really don't think that it is that simple. I don't think women start off being alpha. I think through all the times, because you know, loneliness and desire and being ostracized from a lot of things, and I think we start depending more on our success, and then we reach a certain point and all of a sudden we want to be in relationships, but all of a sudden we don't know how anymore because nobody is accepting of us because of this stereotype that we are angry Black women, and nobody said that she's a lonely angry Black woman. Nobody's trying to get to the bottom of why she's so angry, you know. I mean, it's laughable, but it's the truth. Nobody, it's easier to just say, I ain't gonna deal with her because she angry. I ain't gonna deal with her because she got a big mouth. I ain't gonna deal with her because she got an attitude. Instead of saying, sitting down at the table and saying, tell me what is wrong. DJ History, how many men, how many of your friends do you think can actually do that with a Black woman?
All of them. I think the whole idea of it, for me as a male, I don't believe in alpha female because I don't think any female should be in the male state at all. I think a female should always be in the feminine state. I think the male should make sure she stay in that state. And being in that state, she could still be dominant. She still could be a boss. But to me, it's unbalanced when both of them try to play that. The thing is, once a female is happy and once a male, both are happy, the relationship is happy. It all boils down what makes them happy. Now, if it's materialistic, wherever it makes them happy, that's when you could tell them to sit down, and y'all both can have that conversation on where y'all want to grow at. It's the moment when both of them are happy. If they both not happy, no matter whatever role they play, it's going to be unbalanced. So the moment you could get happiness, it determines what that relationship is going to be, Black or white. And the angry part is all about finding what's happy. Somebody has to be happy. And that's it. And it's not about what they're angry about, why they're not happy. And it could be on both ends. The male could be not happy. The female could not be happy. It's just a matter of finding that balance, and in that way, the relationship itself will grow. And on that point, I think that's how I feel. So any man can have that power once they look at it and realize they got to be that man in that situation, so that woman could be herself in her situation and find her happiness.
Well, Barbara, can I respond to that real quick? So
yes.
I believe the man should be the head of the house. That's just my values. But at the same time, I've been in more than one relationship where he started off seeming like he was the alpha male or somewhat of an alpha male, and he wasn't. And I ended up rising to that level, having to take care of things that I wish he would have taken care of. And so a lot of times I believe that happens to a lot of Black females, that we end up having to be the mother and the father.
The cleanup women.
Yeah.
So women, is that the male fault that you stay in a relationship that you know that you should have left?
Oh, I didn't stay. That's the thing.
You said, women, what I mean is you said that you rose up. What I mean by that, the moment you realized that wasn't for you, leaving should have been the best move as far as in rising up wasn't met because you was rising up in a situation that wasn't going nowhere. So what I'm saying, now, I'm not saying that you did anything incorrect, but at the same token, if you were left before you had to rise up, would that made a difference?
Well, most of the time, Black women try to lift the brother up. We don't just run the first time we see a sign of weakness. So,
but who said we need lifting up?
I think history has
You
demonstrated.
do need lifting up. You
Yeah.
do need lifting up. Why would you want a black woman to lift you up? Why?
if I
Shit is
met you, why do I need lifting up?
History has demonstrated that people come for the black man
No.
outside of the house. And so when you're inside the house is quite often when you try to demonstrate, that's where a lot of domestic violence happens, because outside the house you're not respected and you want a man respect inside the house. Show's starting. Sorry about it. Tori, take over. Sorry.
I'm here.
Hi, Andrea. Sorry. Okay, DJ History, I think you said, why did she feel like she had to rise to the occasion? I think it goes back all the way to when we were in slavery days, and the woman had to step in and be the mother and the father. I mean,
Right.
All right, now, I listen. We're turning one down. Now, when you say, what I'm saying, that I'm not saying that she didn't think correct. What I'm asking is, why did she wait? Why didn't she leave once she realized that wasn't a good situation for her?
Because we have been, from time immemorial, we have assimilated and started thinking that we had to be there. We had to be strong. We had to be the backbone. And they put us in that kind of position because, you know, it was a Black woman that ran the plantation, if you really think about it. It wasn't the overseer or the owner of the plantation. The Black woman that was in the kitchen, in the house, basically ran that whole caboodle. So we move forward to the present, and it's just like, okay, there's nothing holding either one of us back. And I'm the kind of woman, I just don't look outside my race. I've not done it. Not to say that I won't do it. I just have not found anyone that tickles my fancy like that. But I I know that sounds crazy, but I want men to know that if they perceive us as being angry, it's because we cannot relate to the men how frustrating it is to see them treat someone out of another race better than they treat us. That's how it is with me.
I can see your point. I think what the disconnect is when women feel like that they need to fix a Black man. I think they break them because in that sense, like the young lady that said she rose up. Once she became an alpha male, she left that male, and that man still was at the stage that he was woke. He was at. Well, where Black men, I don't feel need to be fixed. The problem is when people feel like they need to be fixed, and everyone looked at them as a project, and instead let them run into their own masculinity and become great by themselves. Because most Black men become great when they're broken, because they have to be weak either to get strong. They can't never know how strong they are until they get weak. So it's not until Black women leave them, and then they realize I really got to rise up. And most Black women see it as, oh, he got powerful because I left him. No, he got powerful because he realized he had to get to that spot. And the fact that I'm not going to speak on other relationships because I only really focus on Black in the sense of us, because I have all daughters. But my thing is, I think when it comes to us as people, we see once we start loving us in general, all the other problems go away. There's no Black man can treat a Black woman good when she loves herself 100%. She's not going to go for no small talk or nothing. And he's not going to give that because it's energy. So the idea of it is the not to fix a Black man in the sense that he's broken. Fix him in the facts that help him go with his dream. If he want to stop working and he want to do this, then I'm going to put all my heart and effort to make sure you do it with you. I don't want nothing in return to make sure you do it. And instead of a project. And I think if we approach each other like that, instead of us trying to fix each other, and we both try to grow with each other, the disconnect will start to make more connections then it becomes a balance. And then we don't have a negative and a positive. We have a balance because each one of us doing our role. We support each other in our own capacity.
You know, I have to say that sounds good, but let's say
Yeah, it's not reality.
That's
It's
not
not reality because the majority, no, I ain't gonna even say the majority, but 5 out of 10 men ain't gonna do nothing, you know, if you don't step up to the plate. And we we do allow them too many chances to get it right. Some of them
Why?
just don't want to get it right. Everybody
But
don't think like you. There's a
but that's what I'm
lot of
saying.
men
Make them,
out here that
make them.
want to be pampered, but they don't want to pamper. But
But
they
Yeah,
listen,
will
that's
pamper
listen.
another
Barbara,
race.
he said the right word, make them. As soon as we try to make them, we become the
Yeah.
bitches,
We become that stereotype. The
All
angry
right,
yeah.
woman.
listen. What
Oh,
I'm
well,
saying to you is,
you
look.
don't care enough about me, or
This
you
what I
can't
mean by
stand
make them
behind
listen.
me.
What I'm saying is by make them is by not pampering them, by not doing the things that this. Like when you said when it's time to go, that first minute leave. It's too many men out here. The fact that each person grow, no matter what happened, would you still be with that dude if you hit $1 million tomorrow?
Well,
That's the
let me
question
just
you gotta
say,
ask yourself. Because
and
the idea of it is, how happy are you? The fact that
what
you're trying to fix somebody that's broke and you're broke, how that's gonna make anybody happy? It won't be
well,
an idea of a black man trying to be cool. If he's not good for you, move on.
well,
And
first of
it's
all, it
easier
doesn't
said
happen
than
like that
done. I
overnight.
mean,
It doesn't.
the gene pool, the pool in general is very limited
Because
And
every
because
woman is making them females. Y'all making males females by trying to fix
we
them.
making them females.
Right?
We're
When y'all
making
said
they're
that,
there with
no,
us because y'all are not.
listen, what I mean by that is when you got women trying to fix a male over and over and over, where can he go to be a male? Each
well, that's
relationship,
the
With
somebody
his
problem.
trying to
Y'all
fix him.
boys,
not lifting each other
where
up.
he
The
goes
males
with his
are not
boys,
lifting
he
each
know
other
how
up.
to act when he's with somebody else of another race.
Well, see,
So
that's all the perception. Honestly, I dated other races, all the perception. That's why I'm saying that when I say with women, black women with fear, it's the whole idea. You assume that black males think this way. I promise you, if you ever let a black male just be himself, the thuggest one, you'll see a different side. All of them have to play strong no matter what the case is, because the moment they get played weak, they become simps. They become beta males. They can't be themselves when they got to go through stuff. So every night they got to play strong. A female come in there with a broken heart, she the love of life. She come in there strong, she's a bitch face, but she still get attention. It's just like this quote: the only person that's loved unconditional is babies, women, and puppies and dogs. Males only love by the value they have. If they don't have any value, they're not loved the same.
And we're number 3. The dog
But
is
but the
first, then
idea
the
you love
baby, then a
unconditionally
woman.
though. But you love unconditionally. No matter what, you love. Broken or put together, you love. If a man's broken, he's not loved.
I think it's
That's
Okay,
what
just
I
how did the
mean.
man become
I think
broken in the
that's the
first place?
opposite. Women do love the men unconditionally, but we get dogged out.
Dogged
See,
out.
the idea you
And
say
have the baby.
we. How is that unconditional when it becomes we? If it's unconditional, it's about him. It's not
Well, you
about you.
just
You
told,
shouldn't get
you
no
just, now
classification.
you're contradicting what you
No,
said to
no, we're
me.
not. No, she said when it's when we get dogged out. The idea if
Yeah.
you love somebody unconditionally, it shouldn't matter how it affects you. It shouldn't matter how it affects him. That's
Wait a
That's why
minute
unconditional.
she
now.
said
Hold
she
on. You
stepped
say,
up to the
why did I
plate. And you
say?
asked her, why would she step up to the plate?
Yeah.
No, no, no,
Because
no,
she
I
loved
didn't
him
say
unconditionally.
no, no. What I said was the only people that get love dogs and babies. If men don't have any value, he's not loved unconditionally. Because she just said it. She got hurt by loving him and she left. If she loved him unconditionally, it wouldn't matter if she got hurt.
I didn't leave right away though. That's the
But
thing.
you left. You left. And no matter what, if it's
So
unconditional, you
we,
don't leave.
so in order
Because it
to
was
maintain
unhealthy. It was unhealthy.
the status of not being an angry black woman, we stay where we're not wanted at the table.
No, what I'm saying is instead of putting yourself as heroes or the moms of that situation, put yourself first. Love yourself. If that situation isn't working for
I
y'all,
don't think it
move
has
on.
anything to do with whether we
Well,
love ourselves or
listen.
not. You
What,
know,
what,
people
what I
use
mean by
that.
that is, what I mean by that is, I'm not saying you don't love yourself. What I'm saying is, if you're in a situation and you know down in your gut this situation is not good for me, move, leave on. Don't worry about that dude feelings. Love yourself to know I got to move on, and make good for
Okay,
me.
she
That's
did
what I
that.
mean.
And you said, why did she do it?
No, I said when she, for the simple fact she said we had to build men. I'm saying don't stay in the situation long enough where you find you got to build yourself up. The moment you realize this is not working, leave, and then that way you can build yourself by leaving. Don't build
Well,
yourself in a situation with
that's
a broke man.
oversimplifying. That's really oversimplifying. I was in a marriage, so I had children, so it's not that simple. But the bottom line is, I'll give you a real simple example. You know, I learned when I was in college about how to deal with finances through hard knocks. And so when I got into a marriage, my thought was, you pay your bills first and you play later. Well, it was just the opposite. And I wanted to go up. I didn't want to go down back to where I've already learned that lesson. So you try to educate and build up so we can both, you know, make it together. You can't have one person pulling one way and the other pulling the other. So over time, when you have enough of that, then the relationship erodes. And that's when you say, okay, I tried to be down with this. I tried to, you know, make this work, and then you have to move on. But again, the topic is about angry Black women. And the bottom line is when you have been treated so poorly by someone who looks you in the face and say, I love you, or you're just trying to make it and have the same equal opportunities that everyone else in the workplace, and they're still seeing you differently and treating you differently. Again, Black women go through so much. And so some women are rightfully angry. They have every right to be, but what we got to do is learn how to deal with that anger when it's legitimate.
Anger.
Yeah.
DJ, history. Can I ask you a question? Where are you located physically? And what part of
Florida, Jacksonville, Florida.
In where?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, just down the road from me. I'm gonna have to go clunk him in the head. No, I'm just joking.
Tori's over there in Georgia, Florida. I mean, we're gonna send her over there to you. I'm sorry. No, Derek Williams, thank you for joining us. You're the second male that we need to beat up on, because DJ History has given us food for thought. So Derek, do you have anything to say about the so-called angry Black woman?
Anything to say about the angry Black woman?
Yes. Does it sound better when you say it?
Pertaining to what? What's she angry about?
You've never heard the term angry Black woman?
Sure I have.
Okay, so
but it's generally, it's applied to different situations, different things. So
okay, so tell us about some of the situations you would apply it. Have you ever called a Black woman angry? Have you and your friends ever termed any women that you knew as angry Black women, therefore I can't deal with them?
I'm sure we've used the term angry Black woman or something of the likes, you know what I mean, to be totally honest. Can't deal with individuals, yeah. Can't deal with Black women as a whole, no.
What's wrong with Black women as a whole?
No, pardon me, nothing. What I was trying to say was that there may have been verbiage before that you can't deal with a particular woman who's Black is angry.
Oh,
right?
okay.
But not like as in all Black women are angry and I can't deal with any of them.
Oh, okay.
That would be a negative.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to lose all respect for you. No, I'm just kidding. But okay, so let me ask you this. Before you came on, we were talking about the fact of why Black women may be considered angry or overly aggressive. Do you think that it's because they hate the color that they're in, or they love the color that they're in, or a mixture of the two, or are we just pegged wrong?
No, I don't think it's because Black women hate the color that they're in. I think it's because of the experience of what it means to be classified as Black, particularly in America. The entire group was basically classified or outcasted. To be Black in America, by definition, historically, is to be a caste. So Black women with their own unique experience, but like Black men have dealt with the historical aspect of all that and all of the inherited dysfunctions and all that kind of stuff that comes along with it. So I definitely think that there's a reason for Black women to be angry, right? Upset. If you ask James Baldwin pretty much says any Black person in their right mind in America is walking around upset, right?
Mhm.
But sometimes I think that depending on the circumstance, the individual, it's either misdirected energy or it's a human being that has a particular circumstance and they may have, it's caused some type of cut or trauma and people are dealing with it as they know how, right? It doesn't mean that it's necessarily, talking about actions now, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily healthy. It may not be unhealthy either, but it's just what people know how. It's what they know. So,
Well, how did we get that stereotype on us? I know that sometimes we can be overly aggressive, and sometimes I think people project onto us what they think they know. And I think like we can bring even in hair, the perm Black woman versus the natural Black woman in the workplace. You know, as long as they're walking around with the permed hair and, you know, making their features closer features to the white counterparts, they get more respected to me than the darker sister that may have an afro or may have braids or dreads. Um, am I wrong? Anybody on the panel? And anybody want to say anything about that?
I'll speak to that.
Okay.
Hello,
I think
can
that,
y'all hear me?
go
Okay.
ahead.
Derek is go, and then Tori, you come after him.
I think that there's some reality to that too. You know, it's a nuanced situation. But like I said, yeah, I agree with that. Because I feel like this as a Black man, right? Particularly when I say this is really all Black people, but specifically speaking for African Americans, it's as if it's already been planned out how we're supposed to look, who we're supposed to be. So up until recent times, it was not permittable for Black men or really Black women, but Black men to a lesser extent, and also Black women, to wear their hair braided or cornrows in the workplace or even in the military. Now, for us, that's a part of our culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other people can walk around wearing things that resemble their culture that are starkly not recognized as American. Let's just keep it 100 from a historical perspective. They can wear turban wraps and all kinds of other stuff, but we wear our hairs and hairstyles that reflect our culture, and it's something that is either offensive or it's considered something that's not permittable. We seem to have to fight for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I that's where I would agree with what you're saying, that I could see that happening, that there has been a historical aspect where we have a term we use, you know, the game, to get along, to play along. And that's essentially what that is. The less Afrocentric or Black culture, Black American culture you look, the further you have chances historically of moving. I'm not saying it's this way 100% now, but this is the history of the people and of the country and part of the social aspect. The more that you look like the dominant majority, the better chances you have, right? So that, again, there's a unique aspect that, of course, Black women are going to deal with that's specific to y'all, right? But on a larger, on a macro scale, it's really a group issue.
Hello?
Yeah, that was it. That's
Oh,
all I
okay.
have to say. Sorry
I
about
don't know
that.
what happened. I thought I typed you out.
Barbie.
Okay, well, Tori, can you reply to that?
I agree. I agree definitely. There's a point to the
Can you talk a
angriness.
little louder, Tori?
Yes. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Mhm.
Trying to travel. Sorry
Oh,
about
okay.
that.
I forgot you were traveling.
Yeah, there's a point to the angriness, because it's still the why. Why are we angry? It's the perception of trying to deal with everything that's going around us, things we've been taught and conditioned, how we seen ourselves as slaves, and all those things like that that's built up in our mind of why to be angry, how to be angry. Because I mean, how do we know to snap our fingers and roll our necks and eyes and things like that, and to talk out loud? I mean, we've seen it so much, so it's a stereotype situation, I believe. Just getting back on the topic of the angriness, you know, I don't know how you guys perceive it at the workplace, but sometimes it could be jealousy of your skin, the white people, and all of the things that the reason why they're going to call you angry. That's because that's what they know to call you. They learn to call you Negro. They learn to hate you, just because. So I think it's the how and the why.
Okay. Well, and some instances, I know that the Black woman has always been depicted as somebody that's very strong, whereas the white women, the European descent, have been considered frail and they gotta be protected. And do you think that has anything to do with the fact that with Black women trying to be so strong or being strong, it we exude the
But if that's the past, and that's what we were known to do, we were put in a place to take care of their kids, feed their kids, spank their kids, do whatever with their kids. So generation and generation, if that's what we were taught to do, then that's what the grandparents and the ancestors and all that. I believe that's where it's coming from, because we were taught to protect them. They have the sense enough to say, okay, I can walk across the street, nobody can hit me because I'm white, and that was the white privilege situation. I mean, we let them do it. That's what they're gonna do. If they feel like they're gonna be shielded by us, that's what they're gonna do. So if we had to protect them, feed them, dress them, we were their maids. I mean, that's what they think. That's the way they believe. So naturally, the Black woman is going to protect, because we know not to talk back to white people. We learn not to, that's how we were raised to teach, our kids, not to talk back to the white man or the white woman or whoever. We had to respect them and not respect our own. We had to be what's quote unquote Uncle Tom's and this, that, and the third. So in order to get somewhere, we had to snitch. So white people and Black people, I mean, the race card and everything does play a factor in why we are angry, because we did all the work and they get all the praise and the justice, like they did all the work. So raising us and teaching our kids, this is what we have to do in order to survive out here, in this society. We were raised in this their society. We have to be versus like wear the hair, talk like them. This is what we do. in some instances we kind of need to blame ourselves because we're not changing the situation. We're making products and doing everything they're doing. We're not doing anything for us, you know? So that's another situation that will make us angry.
Okay, I'd like to ask DJ History and Derek Williams a question. As far as sexual prowess is concerned, do you think that that is one of the reasons white women tend to go toward black men, and black men in turn go to them? Could that be a reason why we may be angry?
DJ, you want to go first, or you want me to go?
Either way, I go.
Go ahead.
You said now you think because of sexual prowess. My thing is, it
you
plays
Mandingo
a role.
warrior, you
Yes,
you know.
yeah, I think it does plays a role because it's the unknown. So anything from the unknown does bring up the sexual arouse me even more. So that pleasure itself. I don't believe it's the key factor, but I do believe that does play a big role because it's unknown both parts. Men want to explore the other side, women want to explore the other side, especially when it comes to different cultures. Because most of our information came from what we've been fed. Everything most of us know, and not saying us on the phone, but the general population, majority of information came from television, came from third party, it came from somebody else. And that same source was the good and bad source. So how they perceive women sexually and physically all became from, aka your Pornhub, now your Instagram. All those became the new way of how you approach women and in that sexual manner. So when a black woman or a white woman or another woman see a black male, like you said, they think of the Mandingo. They think of all the great time they're gonna have. And so yes,
great
it does
time.
play.
Okay,
yes,
go ahead.
yeah. I mean, we are a dominant species.
Not
so,
all
yes,
y'all die.
It's definitely great.
I done had some
Well, some
sad
of
times. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
Go
you know,
ahead.
all the sperms and all the one that hit the cell wasn't a good one sometimes. But now, but like it does play, it plays a role. It does play a definitely a part role when it comes to it. I don't think it's the major one, but it does play a part. That was my take on it.
Okay, Derek.
I agree with what he said. Black males, specifically Black American males, are probably the most fetish male in America. I mean, if you think about it, there's a fetishism. When I say that, meaning that even how we're marketed, when you look at the advertisements of athletics and all that kind of stuff, like I said, you can't really have this conversation, to me. You can on the surface level, but if we like really talking about it, you can't really have the conversation without really adding in the history that leads all into this, because there's really been kind of a fetishizing of the Black male body from the beginning.
From the beginning, Mandingo warrior.
Right. So with regards to that aspect of it, or even just the strength of our bodies, you know, looking strong, with regards to that, I think that there's some validity to that. But I would agree with what DJ said. I don't think that that's like the primary thing. I personally think that a lot of the anger that stems from Black women with regards to Black men pertain to finance, partnership or companionship, perceivable accountability with regards to parenthood, and then the ability to be able to provide perceivably, like, as an example, white men are able to provide for white women. And this is a dynamic that we kind of, it's something that I don't think that all Black people are really conscious of, because you have to understand the state, the financial state or the wealth state of Black America to grasp why there is that imbalance there. Nevertheless, Black women are still women. We live in America, right? And want like anyone else does. So if you're living within a society, you're taking part in it. And I think that there's a frustration there without being able to provide that. I think that's why people like, as an example, well, I think that's why people like Kevin Samuels have a platform. But I think that's also why if you listen to, as an example, some of the callers, they're saying some of the things that are redundant. You know, looking for a man that's making a certain amount of money, looking for a provider with regards to finances and also leadership, right? So I think that there's a frustration with Black women with regards to that. And then in the last conversation, I think you were the one that mentioned, obviously there's less Black men with regards to the ratio. So I think Black women are also upset with that. And then that's a generalization again. I'm not talking about all, but I think that that's in the mix of things to be upset about.
Okay, well, you mentioned that, you know, white men with the finances. So basically, to me, what you're saying is white women have the best of both worlds. They can get the money from their husband and have the Mandingo warrior on the side for everything else, whereas we can't get either one half the time because we're deemed as people who have attitudes. We are overly aggressive. We don't know how to censor our mouths, and we don't know what to do with all our bottled up feelings.
Well, I agree with some of the things that you said, right? That are definitely things that we say within the culture, or even as men we would say, but I wouldn't say that because I mean it's like 88% or more of relationships between Black people are Black men and Black women.
What is?
So
Somebody got some of my percentage.
What I'm saying is that most Black people are not biracial. So
That's
even
true.
if the relationships aren't working out with their parents, it means that they have a Black on Black relationships. It's a newer phenomenon as there's been an increase in biracial relationships, and we tend to see that with media and all that kind of stuff. So I'm saying that Black women out here are obviously having relations with Black men, but the complaint is that there's either not enough or that the pool that they're having to choose from isn't the highest quality. And maybe they're Black men on the higher level, right, or that are making more money are not choosing them, right? That I would say that and also as well. But some sisters would say, hey, well, you know, if that's not what you want, go do what go do whatever you want. That's cool, right? So that's why I said that at the end of the day. I would agree that, you know, there are some Black women that are reckless with their mouth. That's a fact. It just is. And I mean, even if you had a conversation with a person, Black, white, whatever, the person is reckless with their mouth. Yeah.
Well, could that stem from bottled up emotions, not knowing how to approach the Black man? Because even though we have been there, the mainstay of a relationship, but it just seems not 9 times out of 10 it's the male that messes up in a Black relationship. From me being around my friends, being around my family, that's what I've run across. And I wouldn't call myself an angry Black woman. I call myself an angry, lonely Black woman. There's a difference.
Well, I wouldn't deny that men are at fault for relationships or in relationships, and maybe it does happen more. I don't know, but I would say this, Barbara. I would say that there's a level of accountability that you cannot really address probably across the board with women as a man. You talk to many men, if they're being God level honest with you, you'll probably hear a lot of this same response, right? And in the Black community, I know because amongst myself, even on social media, we've been trying to have these conversations, these whole gender war thing going on, right? There are certain things that cannot really be said or don't want to be taken a look at from the male perspective. Critiques, right? And some sisters is open to hearing that, and some sisters they just not gonna hear it. It's your fault no matter what. And it's like, okay, well, if you're not even willing to really hear the critiques that I have, because I mean, you're in a relationship with a person, so you would want to think that I'm happy too, or that I'm okay too, right? Right. At the end of the
Right.
day, then it means that really you don't really care to hear what I have to say, and you can't make any adjustments if you don't want to hear critiques, right? So I think there's a level of that where you get
You went mute.
attack on either the woman, and that's not what it is. It's a critique.
Okay, you went mute on your last statement, so we didn't get the first part.
Oh, I just said that I think that there's a line there that if you have to be careful about that, that can be perceived as an attack on that woman or on Black women rather than a critique or something to take a look at, right? So.
Okay, do you agree with that, DJ History?
Just what he said kind of helped me just think about another reason why most Black women may be perceived as angry. Black women are one of the few races that down their men in public, whereas in no other race down their men. Like when we speak of white women, a white woman will talk bad about a white man, but never to the point she damaged his character. Whereas a Black woman, like he said, when she's fed up with him, she's gonna give him the third degree and damage his character. Whereas I think that's why most of them perceive that, because we're the only race that really damaged our Black male character, our male character. No other race damaged their male character. They might not like them, they might not agree with it, aka the sex scandal. We go with the R. Kelly and the Jeff Epstein. Both Jeff Epstein was the worst one in sex traffic, but they down R. Kelly as the Black man so much his character is worse than Jeff. And they're two different spectrum, but they made it equal just because of how they destroyed his character. Whereas the white race never destroyed that man's character. And I think that's where the angerness might be perceived that because of the way our character get damaged when we leave a relationship with a woman of color, okay, a Black woman. That's my perception on that.
Okay, but okay, let me play devil's advocate. You say that the other races do not put their men down or whatever. Okay, what I've come to know is people who are in interracial relationships. Let's just say the Black man goes out and cheats on his white counterpart. She's not going to get angry or whatever. She's going to stay there, but you can best believe she's going to sleep with every other male that he's associated with. His brother, his friends, his next door neighbor, whatever. Whereas a Black woman, we're going to get mad and, like Gloria say, try to stay in the relationship. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, I agree. What I'm saying is, but the fact that the white woman never damaged that man's character.
Oh, see, so us talking
thing,
about you is not as bad as them going to sleep with everybody in your family?
It's not that the sleeping with everybody we can live with. Well, you damage my character, I can't move on. I can't go on to society if you told everybody, especially if it's not true. Because a female go off emotion, they don't go off of facts. If a woman, it could be 90 degrees outside. If a woman go outside and say, you know what, I'm freezing. Look, the sun out here, no, I'm freezing. Oh, now she's cold, so now she's really cold. Even though it's not because she goes off emotion. So when she's getting angry and talk about this man's character, she destroyed any possibility he had for moving on. Whereas in none of the race, they do that. Yes, the sleeping around might hurt his pride, but he could get over that. That's what I mean by other races. When I say with a woman, like you said, with so much, a lot of them are building with a lot of anger, a lot of childhood anger, a lot of stuff, frustration. So their first thing is to lash out on a man. And seeing it in the public eye is something of the norm. Yes, it's normal to say, my man ain't good on social media. My man, Black man, ain't nothing on social media. Well, you don't see that in the white household. And the white household is just as broken as the Blacks. Trust me, it's more separation in the white household than it is the Blacks. But you don't see that on social media. They advertise that. They might say they got a deadbeat dad or he's not doing this for child support, but they won't damage their character. That's what I mean, the character part. When you don't give that man a chance to move on, when you can move on after a bad relationship. Because people going to go on your side. You know what? He ain't no good. I'm glad you messed with his brother. That's what
Okay.
that's go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
Barbara, can I say that just from experiences that I've seen, my mom's best friend was white. I've been around quite a few white people, and I think that what's being said right now is not totally true. I think that's a perception, but it's not true. Someone that I was very close to, and you know who that is, he ran across the street thinking that, oh, black white woman was going to be so submissive and all that. That woman was so mean, he couldn't run back fast enough because his perception and stereotype about how wonderful and submissive all of them are was just busted. It was not true. So
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't. We wasn't on the same page. I just said it wasn't the fact she damaged the black man character. She won't damage the same race. That's what I mean. They won't damage a white, like you said. She won't damage that male character. She won't damage his character. But yes, a black male is normal. It's normal to say he ain't nothing. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that they're gonna treat us better. I'm not talking about submission. I'm not talking about somebody got to be. Oh yes, you're right. I'm talking about when I leave, we both leave. You're not gonna talk bad about me in the public where I can't move on. But they do that to the black male. You don't see no other race.
But I think what you're describing, it makes me wonder, and no offense, but I think you're making all of us monolithic. That sounds like a ghetto girl.
I'm speaking facts. No, look at the public eye. Look how y'all look at black males and look how white women look at white men. See which one? When do you ever see a white woman bash a white male?
Well,
I mean, bash them the way y'all do.
If we go with your contention, we have to think about the algorithms. How many white pages are you on to see if this is really happening?
I'm seeing it with the simple fact. Let's look at R. Kelly and Jeff. Look how black women damage the black character on public eye. You never see that with the white male, ever. I'm talking about how black women damage the black male character in public eye. You never see that through no other race. You see the damage of his finances and all that, but never his character. I'm not saying that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Who's in control over what we see and what we perceive?
Y'all
look at the shows that are the most popular on TV right now. They have the black women against each other. Oh, we get money, and even though we're supposed to be friends, we're turning against each other and all this kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, when they have the women of somewhere else, they try to make them the same, but it's not. And the more ghetto they act, the more we run to it.
Because all of us are not
stereotypes.
like that.
All of us are not like that. I know I'm not like that. I can't even fight.
Listen, ladies. What I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying that all the people on the phone. What I'm saying is, the perception that most of us males receive is because, not because, I'm not saying all, but I'm saying when you look at like she said, the algorithm, it's the fact that males are only seen in one way when it's the public eye. But the thing is, most males only have their character. Once that's lost, there's nothing else after that. So the fact that their character could be broken down when it comes to black and you look at white and other races, that's what I'm saying. As a female, as a black woman, how do y'all see yourself talking to a male in public? Do y'all feel like y'all conversation is going to break this male where he can't move on? And you can't, because that's not being done by other races. So when you put other races in, you got to look at the same way they treat their male. Not how they treat your male, how they treat their own kind. Because they leave their own kind, they go ahead.
So have you heard the term hurt people hurt people? A lot of times where black women are coming from who are genuinely angry is because they've been hurt.
It's an excuse.
And they don't know how to communicate.
It's not
very
an
well.
excuse.
It's an excuse because it's all mental. I'm gonna tell you why it's an excuse. Because the moment a black woman is hurt, the fact that she can say, I'm done with it and move on. The fact she can sit there and dwell in it, she's gonna keep being hurt. Yes, pain is real. Pain is real. I'm not saying that's fake. What I mean is, excuse, the moment a woman say, I'm done with it, she could be done with it. She don't need therapy. She don't need a hand out. She don't need T compensation. She just need to say, I'm moving on. I'm not saying that people don't deal with real pain, but the moment you tell yourself this is fake, this is done. I don't care how painful it is, it's done. Your mind don't know the difference. So when I say it's not real, hurt is not real when you're happy. When you're happy, you're not hurt any longer. You could bump your toe on that nightstand and be in the most pain. You see something funny on TV, you forget all about your toe. You forget about that pain. So when I say it's fake, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but you tell yourself it doesn't exist, you move on from that. You don't walk around with a whole bunch of pain, and that pain goes into your next relationship. It goes into your next situation, your next adventure, because you still holding on pain that the other person let go. So that's what I mean by it's not real. I'm not saying personal experience. Go ahead.
Who gave black men the power to say when, how long, and where a woman should hurt?
A woman did, by staying. That's what I'm saying. When y'all don't look as a black man need to be fixed, y'all leave. And that's what I mean. So the more a woman, and not just y'all.
Earlier you said that she should have been left. She told you
she should have been
left. Okay.
No, but I know, no. What I'm saying is she said that she hung in, and by her hanging in made her somebody that she had to become. And what I was saying was she didn't have to become that person if she didn't hang in that long.
I've never been. Well, you made assumptions. I'm not an angry black woman. I'm a woman who's very confident, and you know, it took me 8 years to get divorced because the brother didn't want to get divorced. He had it good, and I'm a good woman. So it wasn't that way. The way you're assuming.
Okay, what makes you a good woman?
Oh, I could go on with that, but that's not what this show is about. But
because you brought it up, I want to know what's a good woman. Like, why do black women
feel
what
is a good woman? What is a good woman to you?
A good woman to me is a woman that's happy. Period. Happy with anything that goes on. That's a good woman to me. A woman that's just happy.
Pepsi used to make me happy until COVID came along.
Dumb sheet, really, because anything is not just going to make a person happy. Now, come on.
Why not?
That sounds like a sucker move to me.
You notice I'm the only person on the phone that's not angry. I don't have a fit. I love black women. I have all women. I know it's good black women out here, and I know y'all got attitudes. But that's the beautiful part about y'all.
We got attitudes. Let me ask you a question. DJ. Now you spoke that. Now I agree with you on that because Sharad Ali spoke that the black woman, you know, down they men, and we need to quit that because when a black woman speak about a black man, the world views what the black man is. I agree with you on that. But even though you say the black woman do declare the black man, but y'all do it every day. Y'all black man, y'all mess up y'all character every day because you know why? Y'all call each other nigga in public in front of white folks more than anything. You don't think they don't look at you different without the black woman?
I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Like my thing is, I think as males, but right now we're talking about the women. So as males, it's a lot of black males. It's a lot of black males that need self-reflect. They need to start loving themselves so they don't talk to themselves because a woman not gonna talk to a male any type of way if he hold character. If a black male don't call himself, she's not gonna call him one. And that's the difference. Like you said, yes, we don't have some of us are not being lit in our true self and being accepted by anything. So we used to people saying anything to us, and we carry that into relationships. So yes, I do agree with that. So it's a two-way street. Both parties do have to get more internal with themselves and know who they are, so they can walk around this and be respected as who they are, and not how people perceive them.
And I wanted to answer your question: what makes a woman a good woman? A good woman is a woman bring peace to her man. Long as you bring peace to your man, he'll do everything you want to. But if you bring him problems, he's gonna go out and find that solution. That's a good
PIECE or PEACE?
Pippin.
Derek, do you agree with DJ History, or do you see what we're trying to say?
Yeah. There's a lot going on in that conversation.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, I don't even know where to start with that for real.
Start in the middle.
So let me say this. Give me 1 second.
I'm attaching the Bluetooth. All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so I agree with whoever said it. You know, it's a lot of generalizations going on, and I know that's going to happen to some degree because we just kind of talking openly about the subject. But like, all right, like, first of all, as Black men, I would say we have our own issues with Black women, as Black women have their issues with us. But Black women have always been there, right? And I expect always will be. So, you know, I got my frustrations, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't want to go too hard because it's like, yo, y'all always been there. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day. But like I think with the brother, and he can tell me if I'm not correct or if I'm taking that in turn. But I think what he's trying to get at is that there's a level of unaccountability with regards to these conversations, being a man, a Black man, in a relationship with a woman and a Black woman from our perspective. I'm not saying everything we're saying is right. I'm saying that it is almost as if within our culture, there's certain behaviors that have been built up where it's like, we're going to act a certain way or say a certain way, or we're not going to accept certain things. We're not going to accept looking at certain things, you know, or as my friend would say, taking a look at the ugly. That is a lot more acceptable with regards to Black men. It's more acceptable to critique or criticize Black men and what they've done wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I think that may have been some of where he was coming from with regards to that. I don't agree that other ethnic groups or races of women don't publicly down their men. I do think that there's that, you know, I mean, part of our culture also is rooted in Africa. So, you know, for real, Black women is going to tell you what's on their mind. That's just part of the cultural aspect, you know. But there are other, I can tell you for a fact, I know that there are other people from other groups that have talked about their men. And in some cases, they date other groups outside of their group because they may prefer other groups over their men with regards to issues that they have. So it's not like a just us thing. But like I said, I think he was trying to pinpoint in on something.
Okay. Well,
that's what I would say about that. You know?
Okay. Are you through, Derek?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have much time left. And all I can say is I still don't know exactly if I'm a angry Black woman or if I'm just a Black woman that's angry. I think it's where you put it at, you know, because it's crazy. But I do wish that DJ History, have you heard of for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough? Are you familiar with that work? Some people call it Intajike, some people say Tazaki Shangi.
Say once more, the colored girls and
for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough. Tyler Perry had taken it and did a movie, you know, it's the one where he had Felicia Rashad, Elise Neal, Whoopi Goldberg, all those in there. But Google that and read some of those poems, and you'll see it'll give you greater insight into what Black women, how they feel, and how they feel that people treat them. Also, I have to refer to Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Even though it was generally about molestation, it was just holding stuff inside so long that you don't even know right from wrong anymore. I mean, it's so hard for us because everything is changing. You know, as I said before, we become a lot more assimilated with doing things like everybody else wants us to do instead of just sticking to our own culture. And I don't necessarily mean sticking to your own race. If that's, like I said, your heart doesn't know who you're going to fall in love with. But when you intentionally go out and shun good Black women, it's hard not to be angry. It's hard not to say, what am I doing wrong? And what are they doing right? So the term, the angry Black women, the stereotype of being an angry Black woman is something I don't think we'll ever agree upon. Because we don't even know that we're angry, and we don't have a perception, because most of the time we are just trying to climb the ladder, not just the ladder of success, but the ladder of being in a great relationship. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody that joined us tonight. Please join us Sunday if you can, where our subject will be women love their sons and raise their daughters. So please join us, same bat time, same bat station. I want to thank everybody who's on the dais tonight. Thank you, DJ History and Derek Williams, for being the male. And Corey, we didn't get a chance to hear from you, but I hope we'll hear from you. You came in late. I hope we hear from you Sunday. Gloria Tuck, thank you, fellow Tigerette. Herlon, ooh, you hard. Tori, thank you for being on. B, you were pretty quiet today, but I'm sure you'll make up for it. Thank everyone for coming out tonight. We had a great time. And I hope someone learned something. So with that being said,
but that was a very good show. Thank you guys so much. I wish I could
thank
give
you, Corey. So with that being said, thank y'all for coming. And again, please continue to follow us. We are on, this will be uploaded to YouTube. So DJ History, maybe you can go look at it again and say, dang, I was hard on them women. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you, Derek, for coming back around and keeping us from cutting his throat. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so thank y'all. I'm out.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Good night, everybody.